about to create my TBR for Realmathon. With the help of Kerplunk, of course. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Bree and this is 4 Paws in a Book. Today we are going to be letting Kerplunk choose my TBR. If you're new here, I play a TBR game and it's based off of the childhood game Kerplunk, where you pull out the sticks, marbles hopefully don't fall, and I made it bookish. I made a TBR game out of it. So I will explain all of the rules when we go over to the Kerplunk Tower, but just know I have to roll a dice, see how many sticks we're pulling, and then there are prompts that are associated with the sticks. That's the gist of it. I always use a D12 dice here, and then also because I didn't finish my February TBR, I read a lot of books in February, but I went so rogue and they weren't the books that were on my TBR. It's fine. But that means that we're also going to be adding a D6. There is the potential for 18 books on this TBR, which is a good thing because it's Realmathon. Now, if you have no idea what Realmathon is, it is a competitive team-based readathon. It is created by my wonderful friend Cassidy over at Covers with Cassidy. I will link the announcement down below. It's obviously not too late to join because March hasn't even started yet, but it is going the entire month of March, and I, along with Jen from the Book Refuge, are going to be hosting Team Monarchs. We have a couple of bonus prompts that I'm definitely going to be keeping in mind when it comes to the books that I am choosing. So the overall bonus prompt for the entire readathon for all the teams is an urban setting. So I'm going to be looking for books with urban settings if possible. And then the Monarchs have 2 extra bonus prompts. The first one is it involves politics. If you want a bunch of recommendations, I just did a video of that, so check that out. And then the other one is a book set in a fictional world. There's a lot of books that will work for that. Honestly, these prompts go hand in hand with romantasy. And so I'm gonna be living my best life in March, so even if I do have to read 18 books, I think we'll be fine. Like I said, all of the information for the readathon and Cassidy's channel is going to be linked down below. Please go check it out and join the best team, which is going to be Monarchs. Before we get started with Kerplunk, let's talk about a couple of required reads that I need to do in March. First off, my Patreon and I have been doing a read along of the Hunger Games books leading up to March, the culmination and the release of Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is Haymitch's story and I am so excited about this book. I have very high expectations and that scares me because I had high expectations for Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and that's not my favorite of the series for sure. But I will definitely be reading it in March for sure. I think it comes out in the second half of the month. It's definitely going to happen. Then over on my Patreon, we do a cover challenge where we try to find something on the cover and you have to pick a book that has that thing on the cover. It's a scavenger hunt. And for March, we are doing a building on the cover. And that means that I have to find a book with a building on the cover. That shouldn't be too difficult. And I don't know what I'm going to pick for it, but I do want to keep that in mind when I'm doing Kerplunk. Lastly, it is time to pick another book out of the water bowl. The top 2 tiers of my Patreon get to recommend me 3 different books, and then they get to I read it. That's what happens. It's pretty simple. It doesn't have to be a book that I own. It doesn't have to be a book that they even loved. Honestly, if they want to see me hate read something, they can do that. But I put all of the options onto post-it notes and then we go from there. I do give myself 2 months to read these, and so if it doesn't work for March, that's okay. I can read it in April. For January and February, I read The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. This is not my favorite Frida book for sure, but we did get it read. So with that said, let's go ahead and pick another one. I'm so nervous, honestly. Also, they're sticking together and I only want one. Okay, here we go. Also, there's dog hair on them. Okay, the book that I picked is Credence. And this is Claire's pick. This is Credence by Penelope Douglas. I've heard interesting things about this book. I have read Penelope Douglas before and I have very much enjoyed her, but it's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've read any of her books. So there's that. I don't own this book, but here we go. This is gonna be an adventure for sure. Okay, with that said, let's see how many books we're gonna be reading. Let's roll. We're gonna start with the D12. Here we go. Maybe it'll be nice. Okay, that's not terrible. We got a 5. I don't know that it's going to focus, but we did get a 5. It could have been worse. It could have been worse. Now let's see what the D6 is going to have. Oh, okay. We have a 3. So that's only 8 books. We can do that. We can do that. All right, let's head over to the Kerplunk Tower. All right, here we go. Here is the Kerplunk Tower. We have 2 different colors. The first one is green, and that means that it needs to be an author that I have read from before, and then an orange or red. It is orange, I promise. It just looks red in the camera, but that means it needs to be a new to me author. So I'm gonna pull a stick, and then I'm going to pick a card that coincides with the color of the stick, and then if the marbles fall, if any marbles fall, then we have to add a black punishment card. So here we go. All right, we're gonna start with an author that I have read from before with a person on the cover. All right, we're at a different angle because Doyle decided it's nap time and he's right where my tripod needs to be. For the first prompt, we got person on the cover from an author that I have read from before. I am going to be reading Life After Death by S.C. Muir. This is the second book in a romantasy duology, so it should theoretically wrap up the story. I'm pretty sure it's a closed duology. I think she might be writing like a spin-off. Anyways, this is very political, so it's going to get a bunch of the bonus points. I also think it might be an urban setting. I can't remember. I think there is an urban setting in it, but I read the first book during Amazing Readathon, and while I remember a lot of the big plot points, some of the smaller details I may not remember quite as much. So that's fine. This is a self-published romantasy with an arranged marriage, and I really, really enjoyed the first one. Okay, pick number 2. Let's go ahead and do an orange one. So this is going to be a new author. That is a special edition. For the next prompt, I got special edition from a new author. This was very easy because honestly, a lot of my special editions are from new authors. So I'm actually going to be picking one of the new Fairy Loot books, and that is The Starlight Heir by Amalie Howard. This is again another political romantasy. It says it is a bladesmith blessed by the stars, a prince with a dangerous secret, a god bound in shadows. Scorching a new romantasy that will leave you spellbound. Very excited about this one, plus it's stunning, but yes, this is one of the new Fairy Loot romantasy books. All right, pick number 3. Let's do another orange one. I feel like I have better luck with those, or at least I did last month. I don't think this was a good idea. That one was really tight, which means that marbles are probably going to fall now, but we got it. Here we go, and we have a dark book. Next up, we got a dark book from a new to me author, and it's a black book, so I assume it's dark. Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. I decided I want to step a little bit away from romantasy. I have a lot of romantasy on this list, so I wanted to try to get some of my regular fantasy books as well, and I pre-ordered the second book. It comes out pretty soon, and I was like, oh, I should probably read the first one, and then if I don't like it, I can cancel my pre-order. But I kind of forgot about it. It's fine. So it's coming up, so I do need to read this one very quickly to see if I like it and if I want to keep my second pre-order. But Barnes & Noble was doing a special edition of it, so I was like, well, I have to. This says, long ago, humans betrayed dragons, stealing their magic and banishing them to a dying world. Centuries later, their descendants worship dragons as gods, but the gods remember, and they do not forgive. Sounds fascinating, sounds amazing. I'm very excited about it. All right, pick number 4. Well, we'll hopefully be halfway there. Let's go ahead and grab a green one. Here we go. Ooh, a book with sprayed edges. It's getting warm in here, but this is a very, very nice sweatshirt. It is the Realmathon sweatshirt, so if you're interested, they're very good quality. But the next one I got was a book with sprayed edges from an author that I've read from before. And so I decided I am going to catch up on a series. Okay, so we're going to read A Monsoon Rising by Thea Guanzon. This is the second book following the Hurricane Wars. It is a political romantasy. It is slow burn. It is enemies to lovers, and they are stuck to working together. And I had a really good time with the first one. It's not a favorite of mine, but I had a good time with it. Yes, it's Raylo fanfic, but honestly, like, what isn't these days? And if I had a fun, good time, then that's all that matters. Okay, pick number 5. That green one was like very easy to get out, so let's try another one. Oh my gosh, that one was not as easy to get out. All right. Ooh, another special edition. Look at Kerplunk trying to get me to read my pretty books. So I'm being called out. All right, Kerplunk, you're calling me out, okay? I know I said I like the pretty books, but this is a lot of pretty books on one TBR. That's okay. We got another special edition prompt, but from an author that I have read from before. This one was a little bit more challenging, but I do have The Hollow Plane by Alison Carr-Wechter. This, I believe, is a bookish box, and the second one just got announced as a special edition. I did not order it, but if I like this book, then I will continue on. But it is stunning. I mean, like, look how pretty. Gorgeous. And it has like this cutout for the cover, so you can still like see it through the end. I read The Immortal Orders from this author. I really loved the first one. The second two I didn't love quite as much, but I loved the first book. It says, "A love is a weakness the powerful cannot afford. When Amina Wildfang wakes up in a dark hole beneath the sea, her memories have been erased. The one thing she remembers is who imprisoned her. Her family. The only thing that she wants is revenge. But when she escapes, someone has burned her home to the ground with her family inside. Mina decides if she cannot have vengeance, she will have the truth." Sounds really good, and I know that Alison does phenomenal mental health representation, which is something that is near and dear to my heart, so I'm hoping to really love this. All right, number 6. There we go. Orange one. Ooh, 3 words in the title. Interesting. All right, next up we had 3 words in the title from a new author. And I have so many options here that this one may end up getting subbed out. However, I think the sequel to this book is also coming out this summer, so I would really love to have read the first book, and that is The Jasad Heir by Sarah Hashim. This is a political fantasy that has romance in it. Now, it was in the Goodreads Choice Awards for Romantasy, not this past year, but the year before. But I know that a lot of people are saying that the first book is very much fantasy with some romance thrown in. Now, the more that I read Romantasy, especially larger series, the more I'm finding that that is actually the norm. If you think about Spark of the Everflame, if you think about the Legacy series to an extent, if you think about the Court So Cruel and Lovely, all of those books, very much the first book is a setup book. It is introducing you to the world, to the politics, and then the romance kind of gets sprinkled in. So I'm hoping that that is the case with this one. This has an unmissable tale of shattered kingdoms, forbidden magic, and cunning royals unfolds in this Egyptian-inspired epic fantasy debut. 10 years ago, the kingdom of Jasad burned. Its magic was outlawed, its royal family murdered. At least that's what Sylvia wants people to believe. The heir of Jasad has escaped the massacre, and she intends to stay hidden, especially from the armies of Nizal that continue to hunt her people. But a moment of anger changes everything. When Erin, the Nizal heir, tracks a group of Jasadi rebels to her village, Sylvia accidentally reveals her magic and captures his attention. Now, Sylvia is forced to make a deal with her greatest enemy, help him hunt the rebels in exchange for her life. Honestly, this sounds like it's going to have a lot of buzzwords for me. It sounds like I'm really going to enjoy it. I know Monica really loved this book, so I'm hoping to as well. All right, pick number 7. What should we pick? Goodness gracious. They're moving. Okay, they didn't fall. They didn't fall, but they are moving for sure. Oh boy. All right, and we have LGBTQ plus representation. All right, the next prompt is LGBTQ plus representation and a new author. And I have a lot of epic fantasy on here. I have a lot of romantasy on here. I need something light, fluffy, a palate cleanser, potentially something to read during the Gala of Peace. And so I decided I'm going to stick a contemporary romance on here just as a little breath of fresh air. So we have Can't Resist Her by Kiana Alexander. This is a book that I got during Steamy Lit last year, and it's been sitting on my shelf ever since. And it sounds amazing, okay? It's legacy versus progress, and the line has been drawn. After years away from home, Summer Graves is back in Austin, Texas to accept a new teaching position. Of all the changes to the old neighborhood, the most dispiriting one is the slated demolition of the high school her grandmother founded. There's no way that she can let developers destroy her memories and her family legacy, but the challenge stirs memories of another kind. On the architectural team, revitalizing the neighborhood, hometown girl Aiko Holt is all about progress. Then she sees Summer again. Some things never change. Sounds like it's going to be kind of a rivals to lovers. They're going to be on opposite sides of this debate, and it's going to be fun. All right, and finally, just to make it even, let's do a green one. I don't know which one because I'm afraid they're gonna fall. Whew. It didn't fall, but I promise you if I had to do another one, it would fall. Okay, recently hauled. All right, and our last prompt is recently hauled from an author that I have read from before. I had a few of these that I could have gone with. Honestly, I could go with Sunrise and the Reaping, so this may get switched out because I did pre-order this book, so I will be getting it. But for now, I do have this book slated in, and that is We Are Watching by Allison Galen. This is a contemporary thriller from the author that wrote The Collective, which is a thriller that I absolutely loved. It was the first 5-star of the year that I read it. And this is her newest release. It came out in January. It says it's an all too plausible tale where a mother is desperate to protect her family as they become targets of a group of violent conspiracy theorists. I don't want to read much. I like to go into my thrillers very blind, but like honestly that tagline has me sold. And The Collective was so bonkers, so out of left field. It was just a wild ride, and I am sure that this one is going to be as well. All right, so here is what I have on my Kerplunk pile. It's a lot. Good luck to me. And I know I will read more than this because I have some video plans. I will be vlogging the entire month for Realmathon. They will have some themes and other things that go along with it. But yeah, we're going to be vlogging a lot. We're going to be doing a lot of things. And all of the reading, okay? I'm hoping for some great reads, some 5-star reads here. Let me know down in the comments below a book that you are very excited to get to in March. And if you are participating in Realmathon, put your team emoji down below. And if you need some recommendations for Realmathon, especially if you are on Team Monarchs, go ahead and check out this video if you missed it. I have a ton of recommendations, books that I loved, that will get you a ton of bonus points. That is all I have for you today. If you are new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little button that you can do so down below the video. If you'd like to hang out with me more, the links to my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and my Patreon are linked in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!